We have the next speaker, Dr. N. Chandrasekharan, Vice President of Corporate Affairs, Take Solutions, who will be talking on standing out the huge skill pool available. Dr. Chandrasekharan is also not new to forums of, especially to ICT Academy of Tamil Nadu and to such forums. And may I request him to come onto the dais, please, Dr. Chandrasekhar. Then we have Mr. Gopal Singaraju, Chief Operating Officer from Royal Bank of Scotland, who will be talking on career making and path breaking a roadmap. May I request Mr. Gopal Singaraju to come onto the dais, please. And the fourth speaker will be Dr. Daniel Jacob, DGM HR from EC Group of Datasoft Private Limited, who will be talking about preparing the next gen talent pool. Let's not waste much of our time. And before I could consolidate and talk further, let us start directly. And may I request Mr. Leo Anand, Managing Director of eQuadriga Software Private Limited, to give away his thought process to the August gathering. Please, Leo.
Good afternoon to dignitaries on the dais, off the dais. Thanks to ICT ACT for inviting me to share my thoughts on catering to recruiters' needs. As Maluk rightly mentioned, session after lunch, so I'll try my level best to keep you engaged. And specifically, when I did my college days, one thing was in mind. சாப்பிட்டு முடிச்சுட்டு ஸ்டேஜ் பீரியட் இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா பாதி பேர் தூங்கிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. பக்கத்தில் பையன் எழுப்ப சொன்னால் சொல்லுவாங்க, மிஸ் நீங்கள் தானே தூங்க வச்சிங்க, நீங்களே எழுப்பி விடுங்க அப்படிம்பாங்க. ஸோ தயவு செஞ்சு யாராவது தூங்கினாங்கன்னா பக்கத்தில் இருக்கவங்க எழுப்பி விட்டுருங்க, ஏன்னா நிறைய பேருக்கு பழக்கமாக இருக்கும். Talking about recruiters' need, we always talk of bridging the gap between academia and industry. But this topic has been discussed for years and years. Nothing much has changed. I run a software company where I am always in need of people. I also run a training division where we do try to bridge the gap between academic and industry, but we always have a tough time understanding what the academia needs. When we talk about academic needs to the student, they are not serious about what is there. They only want a fast entry. Let's say we offer a Java course. We offer, say, 4,000 rupees. They say, sir, Pakata Institute la 3,000 kudukranga, 3,000 kudukringla. Students are finding it very difficult to understand the quality which is offered. Similarly, if you talk of teachers, teachers say, what's in for us? And we talk to management. Management does not look into the improvement of the students. They look more from the placement perspective. But when will this placement happen? We talk of competent students getting placed. If you want to define competency, lot of us assume competency is knowledge which is imparted in colleges. Unfortunately, this is not true. Competency is a combination of knowledge, skills, and attitude. Knowledge is what you impart in your college, so I don't have to define knowledge. I'm not talking of general knowledge, I'm talking of the knowledge which is required by the student and what is expected in the syllabus. So I don't have to explain that. But what are employability skills? Skills basically can be subdivided into three major categories. Cognitive skills, which is basically the IQ of an individual. Technical skills, the technical skills or the technical knowledge required by the student to do a job in the respective industry. And interpersonal skills. Mostly in schools, we are taught to compete with each other. First rank edukrana. Luckily, the education system is now moving from a mark system, from the rank system to a grade system, which is good. But people have to understand that as far as the industry is concerned, we work as a team. When we say a team, it is highly important that all of us work together for the common goal of the project or of the organization, and it is not between who is right or who is wrong, who is big or who is small. But that is what interpersonal skills is all about. And many colleges fail to impart this to the student. So when I, as a recruiter, recruit people with competency, I look for knowledge, which probably to some extent I can guess from the marks. Again, marks is not a direct indicator of the knowledge, but to some extent I can gauge them. But skills, as I said, IQ, that is the reason most of the companies have IQ tests to test the level of the IQ of students. Technical skills, as I said, marks, and interpersonal skills. That is the reason group discussions are held to understand what level of interpersonal skills a student has. So when I have to compare with knowledge and skills, and the last part is the attitude. A lot of us may not be able to define attitude, but most of us would have heard the common phrase, attitude will determine your altitude. How much of growth you will have determines on the attitude of an individual. So all of you know, like you will have some preferred students, and you may also have some students whom you don't like. Professionally, we may just engage with them equally, but on a personal note, for sure all of us will have our own preferences. So when I look at someone coming to me as a fresher and saying that no one is giving an opportunity to us, only experienced people are sought in the industry, I would say it is not true. Today, specifically in the ICT world, it is very, very easy to showcase your skills as an individual. I think morning I was not there, but I did go through the program schedule and I saw that social media was talked about, mobile was talked about, mobility in that sense. Today, you can promote your students to do individual things which can be, for example, a simple mobile app. You have a college and there are a lot of data available on Wikipedia. Can you not allow your students to prepare a mobile application and present it on the internet, which companies can see and identify the students and recruit them? A lot of things can be done on those lines. For example, a lot of your students will be active on Facebook, but how many of your students are active on LinkedIn? I don't know how many of you know about LinkedIn. I'm sure most of you know about it. But LinkedIn is a business forum where a good student has an opportunity to connect to good business people. It's an opportunity where there are a lot of groups in LinkedIn. Even in Facebook, there are some good groups related to education institutions and to academic topics. If you become a contributor in that particular group, there's a very high probability that someone in that group will recognize you and get recruited. I mean your students. But how many of you talk about social media? How many of you talked about LinkedIn in your education institutions? That doesn't happen. Most important of all, I'm sorry to say this, but that's the truth. Most of the academic institutions, including the universities, are only after marks. Mark is, as I said, only one indicator. There are so many other indicators. And unless and until we focus on that, the gap between academia and industry is very difficult to cover. We have to have, a lot of industries needs to have tie-up with academic institutions and industries to ensure that what is required in the industry. I have been on the board of Bharadas University, and when I sit for sitting at the syllabus, sometimes the first thing what we are told is that, sir, 10% mela maatha kudadu sir. Book la adichirupanga. So the biggest problem they face is not the changing of syllabus to the students, but to train the trainers to train, meaning the staff cannot be equipped to teach the latest technologies to the students. Because most of you may not be aware of what are the latest technologies unless and until you personally motivate yourself and put some efforts to learn technologies. If you talk of mobile, cloud, etc., the syllabus will not cover. And most of you only would like to study what is in the syllabus for you to handle the class. But probably it's not your fault, it's the system's fault, where you need to probably divide your total syllabus into something which is related to technology, something related to your general personal growth. And I don't know how many management of colleges spend or invest time in the growth of the faculty members who are responsible for the growth of students. That's a very big gap which probably has to be addressed in a big way. For example, some universities, even in India, conduct open book test. And as a student, someone feels that open book test is much easy compared to the normal test which they take right now. It's not true. In reality, you need to know where you can find something, and today all of us know search is equivalent to Google. You ask a student anything, you ask a student to prepare anything, everything is available on the internet. You want a student to prepare something from the internet, he will do it immediately because that's what everyone is used to. But the open book system not only prompts them to read one book, but look for something in multiple places. And that is what in reality you do. You don't look at a book, and it's not a mark-oriented reality world. I think there's a basic difference where the universities still go after marks, and in reality we go after knowledge, skills and attitude. How many teachers are really passionate to impart knowledge to the students, then having an opinion that I've come here, I've taken classes, I'm going in the evening? It's true, all of you know that the passion which was available in the teachers of yesteryears are not with many of us today. In fact, some people assume that some teachers have not got an opportunity in the corporate world and they are in this. And it is up to you to break that myth. I'm pretty sure there are passionate teachers. I'm pretty sure you are the future molders of the nation. But do you get the infrastructure to do what you want? Do you have the freedom to do what you want? Some of you may have ideas, but your management may restrict it. The system itself may restrict it. But what difference are we going to make here? But as a recruiter, the first thing I look for when I recruit people is that how soon can I bring them to productive work? Most of you would have heard about utilization and organization. So, have you heard this word called utilization? Kellypattirukingla? Any industry, specifically ICT industry, works on this word called utilization, which means that assuming I have 100 people, how many people out of this 100 are directly billable to the client, meaning bringing revenue to me? And if someone is not utilized, they would be termed as people on bench. And the word Kellypattirupinga. So it is very, very important that I have a lower bench to be a successful businessman. Any company will want to do that. So if I recruit freshers from your institution and they cannot be productive, the first thing what happens to my company is that my bench strength increases. If my bench strength increases, my utilization comes down. You understand what I am saying? And currently all of us talk about the world scenario where the economics is down, business is not doing fine, etc., etc. Which means that everyone would like to reduce their bench, or people have to be productive right from day one. Practically that may not be possible, but what I would like to strive is that how soon can someone be productive? And that is in your hands. We would like to have people who can be productive from day one, and it is up to you to provide us the resources. And how do we bridge this gap is what probably we need to discuss and take things forward. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Leo, for a great start.